Harry Hamlin, thank you so much for joining us here at Page Six.
Pleasure's all mine.
So now I know that you have the show In the Kitchen with Harry. For somebody that has never ever watched a cooking show, what made you decide to start one?
I didn't decide to start one. Actually, I was approached by AMC, who I guess one of the wives of one of the executives had seen me cook on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and the girls seemed to like what I cooked, and it happened to be this bolognese sauce that I made. Somehow they decided that I should have a cooking show. And I'm also on AMC on Mayfair Witches, and AMC is kind of my home network. I did Mad Men for them as well. So when they came to me and asked me to do a cooking show, I said, "Excuse me, what?" And
where do I begin?
Yeah, well, I said no. I said I'm not going to do it. I said, you know, there's no point in me having a cooking show because I'm a cook with a very small C. But they said, what way? We want you to have this show. And I said, well, I will do it under one condition, and that is if my niece, Renee Guilbeault, who is a certified chef, she's trained at the Cordon Bleu, she's been in the food industry for 30 years. She knows exactly what she's doing. I said, if she can be my wing person in the kitchen, I'll do the show. Thinking that they would never agree in a million years. And they said, oh, sure, absolutely have her. So now I have a show. Season 2, we start shooting next week.
That's incredible. So have you gotten any tips from her working alongside?
She gets no tips from me. I get all my tips from her. I now know how to cut an onion. I didn't know how to, I mean, I've been cutting onions for years, the wrong way, right?
What's the right way to cut an onion?
The right way is to cut, you slice it from the top instead of from the side. So I've always been slicing my onions, you know, sideways, and you cut them from the top, and you get, I don't know, it's easier to chop them up.
See, and I always cut each end off, and then I kind of cut around, so I guess I'm doing it wrong too.
I don't know. I guess there's a right way and a wrong way. Who knew, right, for cutting an onion? At least we're not cutting the cheese.
That is true, that is true. So now, when it comes to your homemade sauce, what is your secret ingredient?
Love. Love and more love. No,
that's always an ingredient. That's the best ingredient you could ever put into it.
The ingredients, it's not so secret anymore because my niece and I started a company called the Open Food Company in order to distribute this sauce. And the Open Food Company is the first completely open source food company that I know of in the world, where we are going to give out the recipe for all of our sauces, and everything that we make is going to be with kitchen found ingredients. So none of that, you know, riboflavanoid, no chemicals, no preservatives. It's all going to be natural. So, for example, in this, I mean, the secret sauce you wanted to know, the ingredients for this are crushed tomatoes, red wine, tomato paste, water, honey, extra virgin olive oil, garlic, and organic rosemary.
But let's be honest, when it comes to the secret to it, it's about how much you put in there.
A little bit of that, just a little bit of that in there.
A little of this, a little of that.
But I actually, if you order a bottle of this, along with it comes the recipe of how to make this.
Ooh.
With the proper dose of ingredients, etc. So yeah, it's everything we sell is going to be, you'll be able to make it at home. If you have 3 hours to go to the store, buy the ingredients, come home, cook it on the stove, you can make it, or in 10 minutes you can have it
pre-made already.
That's right.
By you, with love.
That's right, with lots of love.
Now I know you talk about your bolognese sauce. Do you use the 3 meats or do you use 1 meat?
Well, you know, you can do whatever you want. This sauce here is actually a kind of a marinara. It's a red wine rosemary sauce. It doesn't have any meat in it. But in order to make this bolognese, you can then add either the 3 meats or I usually just do ground beef, and it's just fine. And it's actually,
that's your go-to?
That's my go-to, yeah. And
see, my go-to is the 3 meats.
All 3? Well, that takes some time, you know, and so what the 3 meats are, like veal,
the beef, the veal, and
I don't know. You tell me what the third one is.
I use ground turkey.
Ground turkey, yeah, okay. People do that too. So, and some people put a lot of cheese in it,
or pork,
or you can do yeah. Okay, so, but I'm just a ground beef guy. To me, that's fine.
I mean, that's the traditional way to go. I'm not going to get mad at that because any bolognese sauce, well, I can't say any. A lot of bolognese sauce are good. Some of them, not so good. I'm a snob when it comes to Italian food, especially meatballs.
Well, this is unique. After this, you're going to go, wait a minute, is that bolognese? What is that exactly? But I like it because it's a unique flavor combination. You
know, and that has me wondering now, for the naysayers that are against getting jarred sauce, what would you tell them as to why they need to try your sauce?
Well, I would say, you know, if you don't want to get a jarred sauce, you can go to the website, harrysfamous.com, and you can get the recipe, and you can make this at home if you want. And then buy it and see whether you like the one you made at home better or this one better. So I've been making this at home for my neighbors and for my friends for years and years and years. On Sundays, people come over for
Sunday
this.
sauce.
Well, Sunday sauce. And so one day, after we bottled it, I did a blind taste test. And I put the one that I made that afternoon on the stove in one plate, and then this in another plate, and had them try it, and they liked this one better.
Ooh, I
yeah.
love that. I mean, listen, you can't go wrong with a good Sunday sauce, and especially if you're giving a taste test on it. I wish I was there for that taste test.
Well, by the way, here you go.
Oh, you know I'll be tasting some of that for sure. Now, you have a special mission of giving back when it comes to your sauce. Can you tell us about that?
Well, the Open Food Company, one of the things we're doing is we're giving back quite a large portion of the profits to charity. And the charities that we're focusing on are all hunger related. So, for example, the Food Bank of New York City is one of our beneficiaries, and the Food Bank in LA, and we have some local food banks. There's a thing called Project Angel Food in LA where we deliver meals to people who can't leave their house, for example. So we're partnering with a lot of these hunger-related charities.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love when people give back. That's amazing. You have a cookbook as well, right?
Well, we're working on a cookbook.
You're
right
working
now.
on that.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
when
it'll
is
be
that
part of
coming?
it. Well, we're just starting to shoot season 2 of In the Kitchen with Harry Hamlin. We start next week.
Okay.
And part of that process is going to be to put together this cookbook.
What are we going to find in this cookbook?
Well, probably mainly recipes by my niece, because she's the
main
sort of
chef.
Main chef. But there'll be a few of my things in there too.
What's your go-to when you're like, you know what, I'm hungry, I want to whip something up? What's your go-to dish to make?
Well, if it's not going to be this, the bolognese, which is really easy for me to do now after doing it for so many years, and now I can just get it out of the bottle. But, I'm a lamb chop guy. I like lamb, so I'm a go-to lamb chop. I like artichokes as well, which is somewhat unusual. But my go-to is probably to grill up some lamb chops.
Okay. And what's Lisa's favorite? What does she have you make for her?
Not the lamb chops, I can tell you that. She's not a big lamb person, but she likes it when I make a steak for her, for example.
How does she like her steak?
She likes it well done.
Well done?
Yeah, which is kind of sacrilege for me, but happy wife, happy life. What can I say?
Oh, we got to start bringing her down a few degrees.
Yeah, she grew up in Medford, Oregon, and it's a different kind of culture there.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when I was a kid, I used to get things well done. Now I'm at the medium to medium rare side of things.
Right. Well, that's where I am.
What's yours?
I live in medium rare. So
medium rare?
Yeah.
Have you had her try it ever, or she's just like anti?
She's pretty anti, but we went vegan for a year, and that was kind of an interesting experiment as well, which I liked. I lost a lot of weight, and at the end of the day, it was kind of like, no, I think I need to have some animal protein. So,
well, when it comes to sauce, and not this type of sauce, what is your secret sauce to a happy marriage? Because you guys have been married for a very long time.
That's a good question. People ask us this question all the time, and we look at each other and go, how do we do this? I don't know. We listen to each other. We support each other. We communicate, yeah, and we support each other. So, I mean, it comes down to being a good friend.
And you cook for her.
I do cook for her.
Does she ever cook for you?
That would be negatory.
I don't cook.
No. Has never happened.
Can she not cook?
She doesn't really want to. I mean, it's not really her thing. She has a lot of great qualities, and I appreciate all of them. Cooking, not so much.
Can she at least boil a pot of pasta so she could put your sauce with it?
We'll do an experiment along those lines. We'll
I would
find
love
out.
to see that.
Let's
Can you
find
put that
out.
in the next show?
We'll
do that
see.
in the next show. Have her come in, see if she could boil some pasta. Make it al dente.
I'm sure she can. I'm sure she can do that.
And then throw your sauce on it, and then she could say she whipped it up.
I'm certain that she can do that. We'll give that a try.
Awesome. So we can get your sauces online. They're available now, right? Or
They're available at harrysfamous.com, and if you go to harryhamlin.com, it'll take you there too. But we're hoping to be on store shelves within the next 12 months. We're working on that right now. This just came out a month ago. So.
Oh, incredible.
Yeah.
Fresh out. And one other question too. Are you the type of Italian that jars up the sauces? Like, you spend a whole day with the tomatoes and blah, 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 all of that. Like, I know people spend like the day creating sauces for the entire year. I know you have your line, but is that what you had started doing at first?
Not for the entire year. I would make some up for maybe a few weeks, but never for an entire year. And I did, during the pandemic, I grew all my own tomatoes, and I made all of my sauces from my own. I had so many tomatoes, but that is a process that's very laborious, you know, to take the, to get the skin off the tomato, get the seeds out of the tomato, and then get it just right. I mean, it's, yeah, that's a long process. I'd rather just buy the bottle. You know.
Well, I would rather buy the bottle too. I'm going to definitely get my hands on one of these. Thank you so much for joining us here at Page 6.
Absolutely, 100%. So happy to be here.